Hello everyone. It began quietly. The first raindrops fell soft, steady, almost comforting, the way monsoon rain always does. But then the rhythm shifted. The sky opened wider, the downpour relentless, pounding earth and roof with a violence that refused to end. Within days, rivers roared like wild beasts, swollen 3 and 4 meters beyond their safe limits. The land itself groaned under the weight of water. In Hunan, bridges were torn from their foundations like toys. In Guangxi, 14 rivers screamed past emergency levels. In Yunnan, apartment blocks stood submerged up to their highest floors. This was no ordinary flood. It was terror, alive and breathing, spreading across provinces. But water was only half the monster. In the mountains, rain soaked deep into soil and stone. Roots loosened, hillsides shifted, and suddenly entire slopes broke loose, collapsing in seconds, carrying boulders, trees, and homes into valleys. The disaster doubled, earth and water together, striking with merciless force. Across China, fear spread. Across the ocean, in Brazil, screens lit up with images of drowned villages and collapsing hillsides. People whispered, "If the ground can betray them, can it betray us too?" Fear became urgency. Entire districts received no warning, only the deafening roar of water and cracking earth. Over 400,000 people were affected, tens of thousands ordered to evacuate in minutes. Families grabbed children and fled barefoot, clutching nothing but the clothes on their backs. Shelters overflowed. Schools, community halls, any space with a roof. In Hunan, rescue crews from the National Firefighting Administration deployed hundreds of personnel, inflatable boats and helicopters. They battled torrents that ripped at their craft, debris striking like weapons hidden underwater. Dams, swollen and groaning, reached their breaking points. Operators made the impossible choice: release water to save the dam, or risk collapse that would erase cities. They opened the gates. Controlled surges poured downstream, turning villages into lakes overnight. What saved millions upstream destroyed thousands downstream. The urgency became unbearable, a race not against time, but against nature itself. Brazil, watching, shuddered. If its own dams, already strained by age and mismanagement, faced such a storm, could its cities survive? Then came grief. Not distant, not delayed, but immediate, unfolding in real time. In Longan County, 3 drowned in an underground parking lot, the water rushing faster than they could climb. In Jiangjia, an elderly couple was swept away when their home cracked and fell into the river, their bodies never found. In Guizhou, hidden landslides buried families in their sleep, whole homes smothered before neighbors could shout a warning. Farmlands vanished too. Rice paddies, cornfields, vegetable plots, drowned. Food for the season destroyed in a night. Children wept in shelters, clutching nothing but muddy shoes. Parents stood numb, staring at photographs floating in dirty water. Every name broadcast over radio carried weight. Some wept at recognition, others collapsed in silence when the names they hoped for never came. Brazil, across the ocean, was silent. They had seen floods before, but not like this. Not grief captured live, not sorrow spread across provinces like a contagion. And they knew, grief like this travels, grief might have been enough. But terror returned, fiercer than before. The rain did not stop. Landslides multiplied. Entire hillsides fell in the night, swallowing villages while survivors slept. Roads crumbled, severing all connections. Helicopters searched for survivors, but fog and rain blinded their pilots. In Chongqing, entire apartment towers drowned floor by floor. In western Yunnan, rivers blocked by landslides burst suddenly, sending walls of water into villages unprepared. Officials raised emergency alerts to red, the highest level for floods and geological collapse. But for the people, the alerts were meaningless. When the earth itself gives way, no warning matters. One survivor described it as the ground screaming, the mountain falling on us. Terror became unrelenting, overwhelming, suffocating. It was not just water, not just mud, it was betrayal by the land itself. Brazil saw this and trembled. Because Brazil too has mountains that collapse, rivers that overflow, rains that never end. And if this could happen there, could it not happen in Minas Gerais, in Rio, in the Amazon? When the rain paused, what remained was despair. Shelters packed with tens of thousands overflowed. Food scarce, water unsafe, medicine running out, communication lines down. Boats and helicopters still searching for isolated villages, entire communities cut off. Farmlands drowned, crops rotted. Hunger loomed. Children asked when they could return to school, but their classrooms were mud pits, their books nothing but pulp. Streets caked with mud, houses reduced to skeletons, roads erased. Survivors stared blankly, motionless, as if moving forward meant leaving their past behind forever. Trauma clung heavier than the mud. Silence filled shelters at night, broken only by the crackle of radios reading lists of the missing. Despair was everywhere, and it was contagious. In Brazil, it was felt too, not as pity, but as recognition. For Brazilians knew the silence of shelters, the despair of drowned fields, the hunger after storms. They saw not only China's collapse, but their own possible future. And then came the ghostly realization. Brazil, thousands of miles away, sat transfixed, horrified. News anchors spoke of China's twin disaster, but Brazilians whispered in fear, could this be us? Their country, too, has rivers swelling each year, hills collapsing in rain, dams groaning under pressure, warnings issued too late. They saw in China's drowned homes and buried villages, their own mountains, their own valleys, their own children. The terror was no longer China's alone. It crossed oceans, seeped into Brazilian living rooms, and settled like a shadow. This was not just another disaster, it was a mirror, a ghostly warning carried by water and mud. Prepare or suffer the same fate. And in Brazil, silence fell, heavy with dread.